radiance, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. Yeah, you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. And get you out of my hand again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see. Just to feel like I'm fading, and though my heart breaks a beat of time, I crashed the lens just to tell you, don't lead the way, don't leave a stay. Then I drown with a child's play in the rain. I feel like I'm fading. Come on, give it all you got. You're trying to save me, but you're making it all worse. Every time you hear these words, I'll be down the road, cause I know the odds are better on my side. I don't want you to try to be wise. Maybe I'm calling it right. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks a beat of time, I press the lens just to tell you, don't leave. I am in misery. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison, and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in misery.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am, of course, OLED Ed Fries, joined as always by my tag team partner, the Natural, the Nastral, Hollywood Astrid, the queen of our local establishment, all the nicknames she loves and adores every single week. Bobby's here. Hello, Mr. Bobby. Hey, Millie's here for once. I like it. Millie's here live. Yay. I've been talking to Millie for most of the show, so it's been fun. We've been discussing things on Twitter when my phone lets me. We got STGs here. Yeah. John Cena's joining us again. Thank you. So, NXT has decided to do the lazy thing when it comes to Stand and Deliver this year. Just take all the talent, put them in a bag, shake it all up, grab 3 or 4 names per match and go, aha, you're in a match. You're in a match. You're in a match. So we now know we are getting a one-on-one match well, theoretically, we are getting a one-on-one match for the Men's North American Championship. We're getting a one-on-one tag team match for the tag team titles at Stand and Deliver. But we have Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordynne Grace versus Jaida Parker for no reason as a four-way. It is the laziest version of this booking that they have. I honestly would have preferred a triple threat where somebody won the match and then Julia came out. Or they did the triple threat without Julia at all. One of the two options of the triple threat were probably better. Then there's just doing Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer, which if they were doing that, should have waited till Stand and Deliver in the first place. And then we have the 6-women ladder match that's coming for the vacated North American Women's Championship. Oh, and by the way, the triple threat main event for the men's North America. Like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Maybe. It might go strong. It might not. It probably will. I'm not needed elsewhere, so I can be here. I love Allison Kay. I raid her every time I can. However, I do love it when she doesn't stream on a Tuesday night because it means Millie gets to be here live, which is always more enjoyable. And then certified.
Yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow because I hear Daredevil was very good this week already. I haven't even seen anything. I've just seen titles of YouTube videos, and they're all clickbaity with that ending. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have to watch that tonight, aren't I? I'm not the king of haterade. Much freaking hater. I can't drink as much haterade as I used to. I also can't consume as much liquid as I used to. So, but I do have my new form of haterade. I'm not going to sponsor them, but it's a wonderful zero sugar fruit punch made by a company that used to have. I drink plenty of that too. Don't you worry. I can't dehydrate. That would be that.
Before we continue on, I did want to say something because I wanted to say before and I forgot to even tell Ed about it. I did want to send my love and condolences to the family of Nikki Bougie that passed away this past week. Somebody that worked with me on women's wrestling talk for quite a while and has affected a lot of the community in such a positive way. They're definitely going to be missed in their energy and how supportive they were. So if you see a lot of tweets about Nikki, that's because they passed away. So it's been a little rough. I know people like Santana were definitely close with them as the salt shakers. So I know it's definitely hitting her really hard. I'm still very sad just thinking about like that kind of energy and that kind of person passing away when it's somebody that we need in this community. So definitely sending love to their family there before we continue on for sure.
Yeah, I did not get the opportunity to work with Nikki Bougie because she mostly covered TNA, and that's not something I venture in very often. But you couldn't be in the wrestling space, especially the women's wrestling space, and not know who Nikki Bougie was. I always enjoyed, for nothing else, when Nikki would rant on Twitter would be some of the most enjoyable Twitter days I ever had. When all that was going down, and we won't talk about all of that, but when all of that was going down, following Nikki was must-see television for that day and a half.
And for me, them and Santana were always like the leadership figures for like at least the way I saw it in women's wrestling talk. They helped me a lot with my writing when I was writing for them. So I wasn't close with them, but I also worked with them, here and there, and the way they were supportive and the way they were outspoken, especially when supporting other people, especially that was something that I'm definitely gonna miss. So.
Yeah, seeing all of the outpouring of love, you can just see the energy that Nikki had with all of the wonderful content creators in this wrestling space. And it was anybody who she seemed to come in contact with just never had a bad thing to say about her. So, yes. Yeah. I wasn't sure if we were doing it at the beginning of the show or the end of the show. We forgot to talk about it before the show started. So I was like, I'll wait for Astra to pop it in. And if she doesn't, we'll do it at the end.
Yeah, there we go. I couldn't. There's no way I couldn't talk about NXT without talking about Nikki somehow. So
yeah, no, like I said, she was indeed somebody who was in the wrestling space who was positive energy, which is something we try to do. As much as we talk about me and my haterade, I do try to find the good in most of the things that I talk about. Speaking of the good, Jordynne Grace versus Jaida Parker. I will flip the banner for a moment. There's the right banner. Oh no, not somebody made it not a ticker anymore. Ticker.
No, I don't know.
No, that's not the right one. That's why it's not a ticker.
That's not you.
I'm in the Bobby one. I need to be in the taking over one. There it is. That's the one I wanted. I wonder why it wasn't working. This is a really good match. They had a they weren't the cleanest match. However, I thought that they played off the botches, the missed spots better than Tiffany and Charlotte did in the segment on SmackDown. That's for damn sure. I like this match. I thought it was a lot of great stuff here. Double DQ comes when Jaida gets in the face of Stephanie, and so Stephanie tries to get involved and hits Jordynne. And I'm like, oh, okay, they're going to let Jordynne win by disqualification. It'll be Jordynne versus Stephanie. That makes sense. Nope. It seems like it'll be a triple threat. Out comes Julia, which just made me go, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we bringing her back now? Because what was the point of any of this?
She was gone for not even a month?
So Stephanie won the North American Women's Championship. Held it for seemingly 30 days, 40 days. Drops that title to take the Women's Championship because Julia is going to be out of action because she's injured. No, psych, Julia is not injured. She's out for 3 weeks, and she's back. We could have just not defended the title for 3 weeks. Said Julia was on the shelf. Said that Julia will defend the title at Stand and Deliver or relinquish it there, and have just pushed all of this to a bigger show with a bigger audience who would have loved this match even more, and we could have had the match that we should have had the whole time, especially now that we have a heel, Julia, which seems like the most right option in the world.
It reminded me so much of how it's going for like the main roster right now. How almost every match is a multi-person match because they want to have involve as many people as possible. And I get that when you do a WrestleMania. It's like, to me, I would have preferred if Jordynne won the match, at least, even with the DQ. And then have Julia come in and then insert herself and make it a 3-way at least. I don't want Jaida involved in this in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Because if you think about it that way, she's the one with the least experience out of this whole group here. So I wonder how she's going to be like factored into this. And then seeing Julia come out, I'm like, but why? I like Julia, don't get me wrong, but it just feels so odd. The timing of it was just not great. And obviously being Stephanie and being the face champion she went out to Ava later and said, I want all of them. And that was it. And it's like, confirmed ASAP. It's like, I didn't want Jaida involved in this. I feel like they could have easily said, look, we're going to do a rematch, Jordynne and Jaida next week, and we definitely need to have a winner of some kind. And then we have at least a 3-way, not a 4-way. But in giving that little time off to Julia, there was no point. I would just kept her off TV, maybe have her do some promos, if anything, after you had a contender for her, and only have her show up on the go-home show. And that would have been fine too, because, she's healing up. But what's the point of taking up the title from her to have her off TV not even a month? There's just no point in that timeline there. It makes no sense. And between this and even the way they're advertising the North American qualifiers, because they're not even telling us who they are still, because for next week, they're just like, we have qualifiers. Yeah.
They still don't know what they're doing with that
That's
championship.
how you can tell, because even today, because I get the emails from the preview, and it says preview, and it says Ricky is going to talk, and then we have the 6-man tag, and we have this, but no mention of the qualifiers, and no pictures whatsoever of the qualifiers, because they don't know who they're picking either.
I mean, Jaida would have been... I don't mind having Jaida in the world title picture. I don't mind that. I just don't think she belongs at Stand and Deliver for the women's world championship program. Like this has been the worst built Stand and Deliver ever. Like none of these matches ironically, the only match that's had a proper build in any way, shape, or form is our world championship match between Trick, Oba, and Javon. And I feel like they stumbled into that.
Yep.
Like, I don't think that was the plan. I think they kind of fell into that as the main event by pure dumb luck. But don't get me wrong. Jaida versus Jordynne Grace, fantastic. Give it to me again. I love it. It was great. Jordynne Grace on Twitter, by the way, also sensational.
That suicide dive. Holy moly.
Oh, she said, have you never seen anybody try a real suicide dive? I'm like, yes, Mercedes Moné, every time she tries it, because she can never get that to go right. And I only say that because I used to say that about her WWE. How many times did we talk about Sasha on different shows? And when we were over at the other place, and I would be talking about how Sasha's trying to kill herself every time she does that dive.
Yeah, at the other place.
The other place. At the other place. We'll
Sounds
talk more about that
the other place
soon. Now, by the way, I'm going to do this on the air just because it's fun. Astrid, do we have our guests both confirmed?
You can say the one that we know. I'll confirm the other one later.
Oh. You never confirmed.
You can do one out of the two.
Yes, but I want to do both. Anyways, Hank Tank had a promo. I still hate these. By the way, I've also come to the grips that I think, and I hate that I have to say this, I think Hank and Tank are becoming the NXT Tag Team Champions at Stand and Deliver. And
getting advice from all these tag teams is not flying with me.
Yeah, we'll get into more of that later, but that just feels like the way we're going here. The saviors of this, though, are Swipe Right coming in and bringing some levity to this with talking about hundos and other things. I don't understand Brad Baylor when he talks, not because I don't understand the words that are coming out of his mouth. I don't understand the definitions of half the things he says. And it's kind of funny because of the fact that Ricky Smokes is a really good promo by himself. Because I watch two local promotions where I see this on two different sides. In Chaotic, Ricky Smokes is a singles competitor who's fantastic on the mic and is great. On Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open, Ricky Smokes is part of Swipe Right, and they are the most annoying two men on the face of this earth. They're so annoying, they annoy Corey Graves. Do you know how annoying you have to be for Corey Graves to be annoyed by you?
Definitely do.
Because his brother is Sam Adonis. And if you don't know who Sam Adonis is, just go look up the gimmick. Don't even look up his promos. Just look up the gimmick he does in AAA. I believe it's is it AAA or is it CMLL?
I think it's AAA, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm almost certain it's AAA. He works in Mexico. I know that part. Mike the Ref definitely waking up. He goes, Mercedes booking still makes more. Oh, I agree. The Women's World Championship on both the main roster and NXT make no sense. None whatsoever. So yes, that I agree with you that booking does. But when I think Suicide Dive and doesn't quite work, I always immediately go Sasha Banks. What the this name? They're good, but I hate it. Okay, so all right, so a little background on Swipe Right, because I do have information about this. I do know these two guys. They're great. Swipe Right, they're basically the term Swipe Right is for dating profiles. So they're like these Tinder bros who go on Tinder, hook up with girls, and then move on to the next girl. So that's all they're about. They're about making money, wrestling, and hooking up with chicks. Everybody seems to love
So
handsome.
they're F boys basically, because I'm not gonna.
Oh, they're absolutely fuckboys. I'll just say it. They're fuckboys.
I know you would, but I'm not going to.
Okay. I didn't know if you got the gimmick. I was like, I'll sit here and break this down if I need to. But they're fantastic. I love these guys. Oh, you're supposed to hate it. It's supposed to be the most annoying thing on television. It's why they're so good. It's why they're the first WWE ID talent on NXT programming.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, like, being shown in the crowd, because we've done that with a bunch of them. But they're the first ones to have a match. But before we get to that, we have a Culling promo. And again, I love a Culling promo. One of the best things on the show. Checkmark. Culling promo, give me one every week. Shawn Spears makes losing the North American Championship feel like the biggest thing for the rest of his group. Mm-hmm. And I've never felt better about a guy being like, I don't need a new championship. Yes, I am swiping right. I'm swiping left on swipe right as well. Mm-hmm. Because Brad Baylor's annoying. I love Ricky Smoke. Love him to death. I love to hate him. I love this Culling promo. Everybody's trying to tell Spears, look, we'll get your title back for you. We're sorry we dropped the ball. He's like, no. It was never about me being a champion. This is about bettering your careers. This is about making you guys champions. Izzy, we're going to start that process with you. Oh, they've got a long road to go. Mm-hmm. Niko, Brooks, we're going to go ahead and get the process going with you. And I'm like, all right, I dig this. I've never seen a champion lose a championship, not care about it, and be like, this is a good thing. But it is.
But it hurt me at the same time, just listening and be like, am I sad that I lost the only singles championship I ever won in my career? And I'm like, I am sad for you. That's the only thing I hated about this promo. He's like, he says it so like such a straight face. I'm like, you're like, but I'm hurt by this though. I like Ricky, but I'm still hurt that you lost it.
No, but I think it's great. It's great storytelling because this is Shawn Spears diving into this character head first and making sure that the character in the gimmick in the group makes sense. Yeah. I wish they'd do this with the rest of the groups in NXT right now, because that would be fantastic.
But I kind of mix it up in this part. The only thing I didn't like though, when we get the Ricky promo later and everybody gets in the ring, I was like, I know he mentioned it in the promo and it makes sense. At the same time, I would have liked so bad for Shawn Spears to be a part of that somehow too, because he just lost and doesn't get a rematch in any way, shape, or form.
Yes, but they're doing something so entertaining with Spears that, like I said, I almost just don't care.
I know. I'm just torn about it, though.
I agree. It doesn't make sense here, but when you watch the story, and it's just because it's such a good, snake oil salesman. He cares about losing that championship. He's pissed, but he can't tell that to the people he's using. He's not building them up. He's using them for his own gains. It's just so good.
Yep.
I love it. As we're going into the swipe right match, someone just give swipe right a couple of mirrors or just leave him in a corner somewhere, or better yet, leave him in a house of mirrors. If you don't leave them with women, they're going to find their way out, unfortunately. From personal experience, I can tell you, if you don't leave them with women, they're going to find their way out. Axiom versus swipe right. The only negative I have to say about this match, and I have one negative, I think Axiom gave too much to swipe right in this match. Because this felt like a showcase match for swipe right, which it was. But it felt like swipe right was designed to be showcased as a main roster NXT talent. And I'm like, I get it. But at the same time, I really wish Axiom would have dealt with them a bit quicker. However, this is the level of some tag team work on the independents. This is why you need to go to independent wrestling, watching a team like Swipe Right. Because in this match, they put on an incredible show. Yes, they were helped by being in there with one of the best tag teams going right now. There's no doubt about that.
Can you repeat that one more time, please? One more time.
I've never had a problem saying this. Axiom is one of the best tag teams in the world right now. They really are. Just because I want to see them fail doesn't mean I don't think they're good. I can think both things simultaneously.
It's okay. Let's leave it at what you said. It's okay.
No. We're gonna get the simultaneous stuff. But I did love how you could see in Corey Graves' commentary the fact that Corey Graves was seeing these guys seemingly for the first time in the ring, like really getting his eyes on them. And you could see him literally come around to this group throughout this match. Yes, this is absolutely an ad for WWE ID, for the independent wrestling. For the tournaments that are happening next week at WrestleMania weekend at, I believe it's GCW and FSW, I believe are the two promotions. A Wednesday show and a Friday show. Where they're having I don't know if it's the entire tournament or portions of the tournament. WWE ID also gave us the information that, and this pertains to NXT tangentially, that Izzi Moreno is going to be getting a showcase match against Zara Sakor to be, if she wins the match, she gets into the women's WWE ID tournament, which is going to be interesting. Mm-hmm. But like I said, there's nothing bad to say about this match. These four tore the house down. It was match of the night by in spades, the best match of the night. And again, it's hard to have a bad match with Axiom, but it was good to see the Swipe Right held up their end of the bargain. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other thoughts on this, or no? I guess it's off.
Really here. Izzy versus Nina, and I believe they replied to Ver Vixen as well on Twitter, so I'm not sure she'll be a part of it too, but still that will be an interesting entry as well. No, I feel like they did very well together. I think there was only at one point that I don't remember which one of them it was, but it was a part with Axiom that didn't even hit Axiom, and Axiom just literally left the ring as it was happening. Like the timing of it was a little bit off, but other than that, I feel like they did what they should. That how we should go for veterans with the rookies here. I was just joking around with you when I sent you that message still, so that was funny. Oh, yeah. I was like, these rookies, they think they can hang with the tag team champions. Nuh-uh. But either way, I feel like that. No, it was a fun match. It's just nice to see that happening. So that way we can kind of see more of that happening more often. Because I would like to see more of the WID talent in NXT as well. And mixing it up with that. Because I'm like, give me Zeta Steel with anybody in that roster right now. I want to see that already. Please.
Let's give Zeta some time. She finally had her first match on Evolve last week. Evolve's been going on for about 5 or 6 episodes, and Zeta finally got in the ring last week.
And she's on the thumbnail.
And lost.
I know. We don't mention that.
We have one of the most baffling promos of the week, where Fatal Attraction is arguing about which of them is going to get the shot in this tournament. To which Jazmyn Nix steps up and says, "I'm taking it," and walks out. And for some reason, the other two just kind of go with it.
That was so awkward.
From the beginning, and this is why. They hate rookies who think that they get to have things. Then their rookie does that to them, and somehow they don't have more than a general huff for 2 seconds, and then go, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, that was awful. That was so awkward.
This proceeds into the match of Jazmyn Nix versus Sol Ruca. Terrible Toxic tries to distract Sol and Zaria, to which doesn't work, and Sol still wins relatively easily. How is Jazmyn not there yet? How is Jazmyn Nix still not there?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
I was gonna say the same thing Millie is. I feel like even though she's not there, I feel like she did very well and at the same time hanging on with her, because there was at one point that she did some kind of suplex to her, and then went from the suplex to the submission, and the way she was holding on to that submission, and even her facial expressions, the way she was holding on to it against Sola at that one point, I feel like she did very well. There was also, I believe, like a soccer style kick is what they called it, really well with that as well. It just, once I knew that Sol was coming out, it was gonna be her opponent, I'm like, Sol's winning no matter what. That's all I can think about. So it's like, it doesn't matter who you put her against. The only thing I didn't like about this is like this whole time you're pushing Sol and Zaria as a team, but then you're putting them here in this match as individuals. So it's like, which one is it? If they were a team, this could have gone to, two other individuals instead of a tag team, as they've been putting them the past couple of weeks. But either way, I like the lineup that we have so far. I'm excited for it. We still have 2 more spots that we don't know who it's gonna be yet. And she said there's no last chance matches either. So she has something on her up her sleeve for that part. But I feel like still once I knew Soul was coming, I knew Soul had it. So it didn't matter what Jazmyn did. I just knew it was Soul.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about that segment now because I don't feel like talking about it later. So Last Legend and Jakara Jackson want to know what's going on for a last chance thing so they can try to get in. Roxanne says she wants to try to get in because she deserves to be there because she's the only former NXT Women's Champion. So she deserves to get into this match. Fallon, Henley, and Jacy Jayne, for some reason, are still trying to get into this match. And she's like, there is no last chance, but I have an idea. Guess what? It's going to be a last chance with a different name. And is it going to be for both spots? Because fucking Roxanne's like, I didn't even think about this. And she's like, I don't want to be a tag match. I don't have a tag partner. I'm like, who the fuck said anything about a tag match? Why would you put that shit in the air? Bad Roxanne. Don't put that shit in the air.
I mean, we already had Lash and Jakara in the front here. Roxanne in the middle by herself. And then we had Jacy, Jayne, and Fallon in the background there too. So you can tell, like, yeah.
Not to mention, we've got the Women's Tag Team Championships being defended, and they're doing that in a SmackDown Fatal 4-Way with thrown together tag teams like Natalia and Maxine and
I mean,
Bailey.
that one is made up, but it isn't because they've been building it up for the last couple of weeks on socials.
No, I know, but still.
But like completely made up, like Bailey and Lyra. And then there's no Candice and Naya. They've been disappeared from TV for some reason. And there was another team that I was thinking about.
What about Last Legend of Jakara Jackson?
Yeah, but I was thinking that in the like main roster wise, there was 2 teams I was thinking. Oh, the other one I was thinking was like nothing else with like Nikki Cross and Alexa. Like Alexa returned and then she's went off the face of the earth after the chamber too. So yeah.
I mean, it's
See,
the women's division in WWE on the main roster is absolute. The only good thing is Bianca and Jade. No, sorry, Jade and Naomi, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca, Jade, Naomi. That should be a triple threat. I'm sorry, it should fucking be a triple threat. It should be Io versus Rhea, and it should be Bianca, Jade, and Naomi. It should. That's how it should have been booked. I think it's far better to do it that way.
No.
Yeah, me and BFAB would be fine too.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the poor booking of the women's division on the main roster. Because remember, the worst thing is people are like, well, Triple H can't book women's wrestling. Bullshit. The entire women's revolution is because Triple H knew how to book women's wrestling. Why? Because he booked the 4 horsewomen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's just so much to rant about other than NXT. We get a Javon Evans promo. I don't care. Is there anything to talk about in this Javon Evans promo?
No.
We got one from Javon. We got one from Trick. We got one from Oba. None of them said anything important. Julia comes walking outside. They ask her why she did that to her friend Stephanie. She responds with, stand and deliver. No friends. Rematch. And I'm like, good. They're going to do the rematch, the one-on-one rematch, the match that makes sense. Just do the good match. Just do the one. No, we're doing the fucking fatal four-way.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to be nice. But yes, the haterade is. Someday she'll get it. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. She deserves it. That's for damn sure. Hank Tank versus the Culling. More of Hank Tank sucking. I mean, they're fine in the ring. They're fine. The match was good. I think the Culling is a fantastic tag team. I think Niko Vance looks great every time he's in there doing the 10 things that they let him do. But no, it's smart because he's young, so they're not giving him a lot to do. And they're saying, do the things we ask you to do well and don't worry about the other stuff. And so he does the things he needs to do that they ask him to do well. So you can't not be happy with the work he's putting in. I do continue to find it funny that Brooks Jensen left the tag team to be a single star to be back in a tag team.
I mean,
good job, Brooks. You really fucking aced this whole single star bullshit. My God. Just. Like, I love everything about the Culling, but the fact that it's put Brooks Jensen back in a tag team is just funny to me. Just so fucking funny to me. Yes, the slip on the stairs was great. It's fantastic. Went crazy. Nothing. We then get the clusterfuck train wreck of a segment that was Ricky Stark's celebration for winning the North American Championship. He cuts a good promo. Again, the problem with this is the entire time I got caught up on something I really shouldn't have got caught up with is, hey, did you know that Ricky Stark's ears are way too big for the rest of his face? That's all I noticed during this Ricky Stark's Ricky Saints. Gotta use Ricky Saints promo. No, Lexis King is no longer my boy. He's not a babyface. He calls out Ethan Page. To out comes Gold member Lexis King. We then rude but true. Rude but true. In his face. It's a reality. Then Eddie Thorpe comes out, and we'll get to the things that Eddie Thorpe said because, oh boy, I kind of loved and hated everything he said, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, he is, Millie. Yes, he is.
Are we talking about Ricky Saints? I mean, Ricky Saints is a beautiful man. It doesn't change the fact that his ears are too big.
I mean, the ladies were loving him at ringside last week.
There's a lot to love with Ricky Saints, even though there's not much there. Wes Lee comes out. He cuts a promo talking about how great of a North American champion he is. Then Ethan sneaks in, hits a twisted grin, the four heels brawl, everything happens. Okay, now let's go back to the only thing in this promo that matters. Who the fuck taught Eddie Thorpe how to cut a promo? Because, chef's kiss Eddie. My God. I don't know if I can repeat some of the things he said in this promo, but I'll go do it anyways. So, he talks about how North America was stolen from the Native American Indians, so this title is essentially his anyways, and the fact that he's going to take it back means that he's doing it for his people, which should be a babyface thing, but it felt like the biggest, best heel promo he's ever fucking cut. In the 6 months they've been doing this. Then, to the shock of everybody in the ring, nobody more than Wes Lee himself, he looks directly at Lexis King as Lexis King is trying to say something. And he says, and I wish I had the exact wording because I didn't write it down.
Wait. Oh, I know I had it from Twitter. Hold on.
Okay, because I was going to say, I have a paraphrased version of it.
Oh my
God. But if you
God.
have the actual word for word, I want it.
I know.
But he
I'm not
looks at
written
Lexus
that.
King and he says, please tell me you have it. I went from, oh God, it's Eddie again, to you better preach Eddie real damn quick.
I thought I sent it to you too, though.
No, I don't think you sent it to me.
Oh, I think I know.
But the fact that he called him like basic, like pretentious, like overspoiled, privileged white boy, shut the fuck up. I'm like, and again, the line is fine. It's not the greatest line. It's a really good one. I love it. It makes so much sense for these guys. But Wesley's reaction of just this open mouth the entire time.
You want the link?
Yes, I would love the link. Okay. I don't know where it's coming though, so I gotta look at the 5 different places Asher's messages me.
You want it? You want on Discord?
Just send it anywhere. I have all of them open.
Okay.
Yes, Wesley was indeed shook.
Oof, it was priceless. Another greedy white man. That was just the moment.
Yes, another greedy white man. You were correct. Thank you, Ophelia. I appreciate you getting it for me. Who's not content with what he already had. Oh my God, I loved it. It made the Eddie Thorpe involvement in it. It made this whole clusterfuck of a segment worthwhile. Because the funny thing is, this is all setting up a fatal 4-way match that Ethan is going to win. Greedy white man. Oh, wait, it's Ed. No, there's one more here, but I'm not going to say any names. I'm just going to leave it at be. Asher knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, all of this to set up the fact that it's going to be Ethan Page versus Ricky Saints at the pay-per-view, right? Or does Ethan lose this so that he can contend for the TNA championship at not Sacrifice? It starts with an S. What's the TNA thing happening next week?
I was gonna say,
it's not Super Brawl. It's not I don't think it's Sacrifice, is it?
Wait, what month are we in?
April.
Rebellion. April 27th.
Yeah. Okay, it wasn't an S. Rebellion.
Close enough.
I mean, I don't even know if this is Chef Sean cooking or if it was just Eddie Thorpe learned how to fucking cut a promo, but I don't care. I just want to know who taught it to him and can he please teach?
That facial expression was priceless.
Yeah, Wesley's reaction is priceless. When Ed goes on a haterade rants on NXT, there should be a graphic of Chef Sean with a fat red X over him. Okay, Sacrifice was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I saw Steiner math and Scott Steiner saying, should we teach them Steiner math? And I got worried that we were going to have Sacrifice again. So Stephanie McCord backstage picks everybody. Fatal 4-way match. Trick Williams cuts a promo. We have all of that to come back to Inamura taking on Wesley. I love Inamura. Inamura is my little spirit animal child. I love him. He's great. He's chunky. He's white. He makes me feel seen. However, why did we have to have him take that stupid pratfall? Couldn't we have just had somebody like just grab his ankle and then have Briggs pull him off? Like, why did we have to have the silly pratfall involved? I don't. This was a fun match. The two of these guys got along. It was really good. I thought I love Inamura, but sorry, I keep talking and I don't let Ashford talk. And I really got to stop doing that. But this episode has me so fired up for a multitude of reasons.
I know I can't. I'm like, I don't have any much to say aside from that, and I can't stop your rants because they're entertaining too. At least tonight.
No, but I don't like just jumping over you and not letting you have a chance to actually say things. But like, it's so funny because Wesley puts on this great match, and then they have this kind of shitty finish to it, and it's like,
I really don't know. Eric, how
Eric,
you
so
doing?
nice of you to join us. Thank you. We greatly appreciate it. I'm having I'm having an interesting night here on this show. I didn't come into it thinking I was going to be this mean and nasty about NXT. I really thought I enjoyed NXT until I started talking about it.
I thought the same thing.
I really did. Like, I watched this episode and I'm like, I have a smile on my face for most of this episode. Like, I have my faults with it, but for the most part, I had a smile on watching this episode. And I get here talking about it and was like, I hate everything, burn it all down.
Oh, jeez.
Speaking of things that we need to burn down, Izzi Dame took on Wren Sinclair. Astrid, why don't you talk about this?
So I was torn about it because I feel like I like Izzi and I like what they're doing with the Culling so far. But once Wren came out, she had the crowd so hyped up that I was hoping she would win that match. Just because I like the way that she went from the crowd being quiet with her to what the crowd reaction is like now. And I feel like especially now because she's been using her social media more often to push her character, I feel like that has helped her connect with people. It reminds me a lot of Chelsea Green in that aspect, so I'm glad she's doing that. But yeah, I was like, once I saw her come out, I was like, oh, this one could go either way. It wasn't like when it was Soul with Jazmyn, where I automatically knew it was Soul. But this one, I was kind of like torn. I feel like it could have gone either way, but once with everything with the Culling made me feel like Izzy was gonna win it. But either way, they had at one point the double underhook suplex. Like that was really well done. They really showed off a lot of Izzy's power there too, and the way that Wren countered it too. But towards the end, I was like, it's Izzy, isn't it? Though that's the only thing. But I feel like either girl could have taken the opportunity to be a part of that match. I'm glad at the same time that it's somebody like Izzy who hasn't really had much going on recently. But still, I feel like it was a nice match.
So I missed the finish of this match. Like I wasn't paying attention. I heard that Izzi Dame won, and I was like, all right, wrote it in my notes. Izzi Dame won. I then went back and watched the finish of this match. What the fuck on God's green earth was that finish? When you confuse Corey Graves as to whether the match is done or not, that's a problem. Because I love Vic Joseph. I think Vic has a really hard job. Between having to deal with Booker T, which he doesn't get paid enough to do that on multiple levels, and then now having to contend with trying to involve Corey Graves for whether Corey Graves is happy to be there or pissed off to be there, and he's just there so that he can keep collecting a check. For whatever reason, Vic doesn't get paid enough to do the job that Vic does. However, to try to make any of us believe that this was an actual 3 count is kind of asinine.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. Just
oh yeah, she literally pushes herself off at 2. 1, 2, rolls herself away.
More like 2.5. Yeah. Yeah.
Like as soon as that hand hits for 2, Izzy's trying to get out of this pin. And again, thank you to Millie for telling me that this finish was garbage because I had to go back and look.
Yeah.
I like both of these girls. I think there's a lot of talent with both of these girls. But my God, did that feel like a bad indie match finish? With her just like rolling away at 2 and just calling it because we know that that's the finish of the match. And Vic just like picking up like nothing happened. He's like, yeah, Izzy Dame won. We're great. Don't worry about it. Don't ask me any questions. Izzy won. And Corey's
Sure, let's go with it. No, and also at the beginning too, I thought the part that was awkward, not in here, you just reminded me of it. With Stephanie on commentary, he's like, Stephanie, how do you feel about both of these people? And then all of a sudden you don't hear Stephanie. I'm like, is she there? And they're like, oh wait, technical difficulty, something going on with her mic thing. And I was like, that was
her
so
headset.
awkward.
She couldn't hear Vic across.
Yeah.
I love them both, and I feel bad at how cheery. Yeah, it's like I said, I blame the talent because it's at the end of the day, when you're in the ring, it's your job to do what you need to do. But at the same time, what the fuck was that? I just won't. Speaking of what the fuck was this, we have Cal Dixon and Uriah Connors backstage trying to figure out what they did wrong last week. To then have Andre Chase starting to give them advice because he's starting up Chase U again with these two guys, and that's great. For then Hank and Tank to stomp all over all of this, yelling and screaming and causing a ruckus. For no reason to have the Street Profits here in the loudest promo I've ever fucking heard. Like, the decibel levels on the crap that was going on between Hank and Tank in the Street Profits is astra-fucking-nomical. Also, never put these four people on my television screen at the same time again. Because the Street Profits felt like they were there to pander. They're the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And I forgot what the belts were for a split second in my notes. I went, the Street Profits have championships. What championships are they?
So this is the other thing I was thinking about, though. So far with them, with Hank and Tank, we had the Hardys was one of the teams, I think, right, that we had so far.
They were the first.
Yeah. And then I kept thinking with tonight, the Street Profits don't count as heels. Because to me, they are kind of heels.
Oh, they're absolutely.
But then I'm like, they're the first like heel tag team that goes up to Hank and Tank, right? Or am I crazy?
What's that?
Because we had the Hardy Boys, right?
Yes.
Okay, where's the next one?
That would be the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, and then the Street Profits are the third ones, right?
No, we had Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, so
remember the crop top that Amelia's getting me to wear on the show?
Yeah, Street Profits are the first heels though to like really go after Hank and Tank like this, and I was like, it feels like it didn't fit the rest of the lineup in that part of it.
And ironically, the heels gave the right advice, which is stop trying to do everybody else's bullshit and just do your thing. That's all you need to do. That's how you be successful. Yeah,
I was like, I kept trying to like remember back, and I was like, wait. I don't remember having any like heel teams come up to Hank and Tank to say something. They were the first ones.
I mean, I consider Pretty Deadly heels, but they're being booked as baby faces.
Exactly.
I get what you're saying, but it in my head canon, you say they're heels. And I'm like,
I thought
deadly.
about it the same way. Yeah. I kept thinking like they're supposed to be heels, but they're booked in such a way that they don't feel like heels. But the Street Profits, they feel like heels in the way they're being booked. So that's why I maybe think about it that way too.
Are they heels though? I mean, I think if you were to get the sheet in backstage in WWE about the heels are on one side, the baby faces are on the other. The Street Profits are 9 out of 10 times, I think, on that heel side. I don't think they're considered baby faces. Because they're being booked against babyface teams, which makes me think they're heels. Again, I'm an old school wrestling guy, so that, as we all know, Cody Rhodes told us that there are no more faces and heels in professional wrestling, and it's all shades of gray. I think then we get to the main event, which is DarkState beating the main event buffoons, as I have them written down in my notes, because they couldn't fucking pay attention to one thing long enough to actually wrestle a match.
Yep.
And I blame Oba Femi as much as I blame Trick Williams. I mean, it's really Trick Williams' fault, but I blame Oba Femi almost as much. Because I think that they were pretty good until Oba Femi threw Saquon Sugars into Trick Williams.
And this is another thing I was thinking about based on the thought process that we had here so far that you have brought up about Javon being the leader. The leader is usually the one that gets beat up the most too. And then seeing that tonight, I was like, that just felt like another clue towards it.
Also, is it just me, or did DarkState feel like jobbers to main event level players here?
Yeah, I keep saying it, and I hate it, from the get-go. they should have given us more importance to who these people are rather than just here. The only one is Dion, and that's it. I know we know the names of them, we just don't have backgrounds on them, and that PowerPoint presentation from last week does not count.
I was going to say we had the PowerPoint presentation. They
no. I mean,
told
like
us all kinds of fun stuff. Hold on, let me pull out my notes, and I can pull up my notes from last week. And I can tell you all about it.
It's just like I feel like that story that they said about the Lennox, how like he kept getting shoved. We should have had something similar happen with the other three somehow, and giving us a name to the like why they're here and everything. But it's like having them here versus the main eventers. I don't care about them. I really don't, because I don't know who they are.
They don't. They certainly don't feel like a main event level threat. Like it felt like when the main event talent were actually trying and doing their thing. It felt like they were in control of it the entire time. It's 4-on-3, and for some reason, when I think to this match and I think back to it, I don't ever really. I know they were a time where Javon Evans got his ass kicked for like 5 minutes in this match. But in my head, I don't remember that when I look back at this match. I look back at the main eventers were doing great until they decided to start picking fights with each other. And then the D'Angelos tell us we're going to have a parking lot brawl next week with DarkState. And by the way, we're going to have a 4-on-4 parking lot brawl when the D'Angelo family only has 3 male members in it. What are we doing with Rizzo in this?
I love the pop when he mentioned parking lot, though.
Well, yeah, because it's the most dangerous place in professional.
I know, but it's just so funny. Like it was not quiet, but it was like low. And once he said parking lot, it just went up up the ranks. It's like, we know how dangerous this is. But
yeah, we know it. They mean business. They're going to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to go fantastic. Oh, it's going to be a train wreck. I'll be honest. I still don't remember Dion Lennox's name. I remember Saquon Sugars too. And the only reason I remember Osiris Griffin is because the name is just that fucking NXT random name generator. Yeah. Like couple of names I literally had to look up to put him in the tags for the show tonight because I couldn't for the life of me remember what his fucking name was. I mean, she could. I don't think she will, but I mean, it makes a parking lot brawl 5 stars. I know that.
That's true.
It does indeed make a parking lot brawl 5 stars. All right, so Astrid has given me confirmation that we now have confirmation on both guests for next weekend. So I can confirm that we are going to have Jose on the air. Jose on the air is a wonderful person. He's been on a bunch of these shows. We love Jose. Jose is asked to come on. We never turn down Jose when he wants to come on the show. So Jose will be here. And Astrid, go ahead and tell us who the second guest is for our post show. We are not doing apparently a preview show. I think I'm going to record something as a preview show, or I might go live to do a preview show on like Thursday. I don't know. We'll find out.
It's WrestleMania weekend. Let's just enjoy the wrestling, so might as well. Yeah, the other guest is Blair from the Grainmaker podcast. So we have 2 guests for S&D weekend.
Yes, we're very excited to have Blair from Grainmaker. He posts some fantastic content there. I also believe he does content with Love Wrestling, which is our former home at one point. So lots of good stuff there. Lots of good stuff to come for WrestleMania weekend. So yes, I'm going to have some form of a preview show even for myself because I have to talk about this godforsaken mess that is the Stand and Deliver card at some point. And I don't think Ashton wants me to rant for 40 minutes about this on next week's show. So I'll probably do my own little thing for that. And then we're going to have a great post show with 2 guests instead of 1. So I think it's going to be a bunch of fun. Astrid, tell the good people where they can find you.
Nowhere. Not much. You can find me again on Tuesday here doing Taking Over with this one right here, as it's the go home show for that. So we're excited for a Stand and Deliver. No. Other than that, you can find me on my Twitter, Blue Skies, Astrid Pizarro. My Instagram and Threads is Pizarro20. And if you're on my YouTube channel, I have 2 subscribers away from my goal, which is 300 subs. So If you haven't yet, please subscribe and hit that bell to be notified, and click on the thumbs up if you haven't yet.
And of course, you can find me on Twitter and Blue Skies at edfries12584. You can find me on the Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002. Wallop Media has their rewind episode coming up for WrestleMania. We covered WrestleMania 12. That episode should be out this week. Follow my socials for the video once it comes out. I had a bunch of fun with these two guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy them. If you do, let us know, let me know, so that I can let Astrid know that people are enjoying those guys, because I would like to have them on some other content. So let me know what you guys think about them. Vince was fantastic. I love Vince. It was a great time. Rylan was fantastic too. All kinds of great stuff. One of them is another Canadian, so of course I get invited to something, and of course it's another Canadian. Just can't get away from these damn Canadians. Speaking of damn Canadians, tomorrow I'll most likely be with two of them. I'll definitely be with Andre C as we talk episode 8 of Daredevil tomorrow night after AEW Dynamite. And I'm going to assume that most likely Miss Ophelia Payne is going to join us again. We love having Peggy join us, so I hope she joins us again. As we're getting ready to go, we're getting down to it. 8 and 9 of the last 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again. If I'm feeling good and I'm feeling up to it, I'm going to be hopefully doing an Evolve review again for Evolve, because I like watching Evolve. It's really fun and really interesting. I need them to stop being Ring of Honor and start being a little more the first week of Evolve, because I don't need 8 matches where 6 of them are squash matches. I don't. I really don't. I don't want that. This week's big, heavily promoted match is Danny Palmer versus Callie Armstrong. So that'll be fun, because they had a very interesting showdown. So Evolve has this great thing. I don't know how much Evolve you've seen, but they have this great thing where they have this thing called the showdown, where they have 2 chairs sat in front of each other, and they like cut a promo on each other. And it's just this really cool, interesting way to cut the promo, where they just have the 2 of them going back and forth, but they make it feel like a big deal as opposed to just a throwaway promo segment where they have them backstage. I love it. Evolve is great. Please go ahead and check me out. That will be on my personal Twitch channel of twitch.tv/edfries2002. We've got another chaotic show coming up. I get to bring my girlfriend to her first indie wrestling show, so that will be very fun to see. That will be Friday of WrestleMania weekend. So my WrestleMania weekend is even more busy than it was before. So very excited. We got some fun in store for you guys for WrestleMania weekend. I know we got Tom Collahue coming in to do point of view for some predictions on Sunday morning, so that'll be a great time. Hopefully we can get some more guests. I know Ashley's been working on trying to find a couple people to fill a couple of these great slots, because we want more guests and less of people like me on some of these WrestleMania shows. That was indeed the thing that we decided on this year, because we all remember last year Ed did 5 shows or 6 shows for WrestleMania weekend. We didn't want Ed doing that many shows again. So
we get enough Ed as it is.
We do have enough Ed as it is. There is a thing as too much Ed, and last year at WrestleMania was indeed it. And remember, if you want to support our local establishment in some interesting and other ways, you can buy Astrid Pizarro merch and get her wonderful t-shirt that has Astrid basically being Selena Vega. You can go ahead and get that. And you have your own Astrid pose. It's fantastic. I don't know why I did the Astrid pose when I said the Astrid pose, because nobody can see me because the crowd bring it up. If you're going to be shopping at WWEshop.com to get your John Cena 17th Championship merchandise, or you're going to get your, CM Punk beat Roman Reigns merchandise, or whatever merchandise you're going to get for WrestleMania weekend, I don't think there's going to be any merch coming out of that Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair matchup, because, that's been a clusterfuck. Yeah. But if you do want to get anything for WWEshop.com, maybe you're going to get a new Rey Fenix mask. Go ahead and go to this QR code. You can go to Astrid Pizarro's WWE Shop affiliate link. You get the same great deals. You can use the same great promo codes to get the same prices, but a little bit goes back to Astrid so that she can go ahead and continue to pay for the canvas so that I can make really, really, really crappy thumbnails for these shows. If you don't know how crappy my thumbnails are, that means you're not watching on YouTube, which means you need to go over to our local establishment on YouTube, give us a subscribe, give us a follow on Twitch. Go ahead and make sure you like the video on YouTube. We could really use some watch hours over there so we can get the first level of monetization. We can go ahead and get super chats where people can make me say wacky and outrageous things for money. But that's the end of it for tonight. Asher wants to go to bed. I've been Oled Ed Fries. This has been Asher Bizarro. And this has been Taking Over. Bye-bye.
I am in misery.